Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We have finally finished our game-by-game predictions for every single ACC team. And like we've been doing for the past 5 years now, we are here with our projected standings, our conference recap going in to this 2021 college football season. So as always, guys, thank you for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any prediction videos from now until the beginning of this college football season. And also make sure to check out everything down in the description below where you can get access to our expert picks. That's the big one over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Our expert picks, not just for college, but also now for the NFL in honor of our 5-year anniversary here on the channel. So those offers, those picks, and more over on our website, also all down in the description. Make sure to give it a look. So let's go ahead and break down the ACC really quick. Again, we're not going to tell you individual wins and losses. We did that on our individual videos. So go back and watch all these videos or find your team and go watch your videos. We have deeper analysis on each of these teams that we've done for the past 2 weeks or so. Right now, we're just here to give a brief overview. We'll start over here in the Atlantic, where it shouldn't be a surprise to many to see Clemson as the winner of the Atlantic Division, sitting at 12-0, perfect 8-0 in conference play. Many could say that Clemson's lone loss comes to Georgia in that season opener. That's by far their toughest game on their schedule. After that, they should run the table, and I genuinely don't know if there's a team in the ACC that can take down Dabo Swinney's Tigers unless that team is North Carolina or maybe Miami in the ACC Championship Game. It's the only teams that I think could do it against the Tigers, and even then, it could be a stretch. So Clemson, right now, undefeated until proven otherwise. They then go down to Boston College. The Atlantic guys right now is truly just a battle of who's in for second, really. Everybody in the Atlantic knows they're not going to dethrone Clemson. They're not going to be able to win the division until Clemson starts to deteriorate a little bit. When that comes, who knows? So really it's a battle for who finishes second. We've got Boston College finishing second in the ACC Atlantic, finishing 8-4. We have them clinching their first 8-win season since 2009. And I know it's a bit of a stretch for some, but the schedule lines up very favorably for Boston College, and the one team that I think will truly challenge them for that number 2 spot is North Carolina State. The Eagles host NC State off of a bye week on October 16th. That game could determine who finishes second. We like the Eagles in that one. NC State right behind them. Dave Dobrin's squad returned 17 starters from last year. Last year's team that went 8-4 after going 4-8 in 2019. So he continues to do a magnificent job with this program. And now with all the returning talent, Devin Leary is back, Emeka Emezi is back, Ricky Person Jr. is back, Bam Knight is back. All those guys on offense that are back and an improving defense, many say this is Dobrin's best squad with NC State. And that's why I think for many 7-5 would be so disappointing. But when you look at NC State's schedule that they had last year compared to the schedule they have this year, it's drastically different. It's a lot tougher. Got some tough games this year. North Carolina is obviously elite. They played them in the season finale. They played Miami on the road, Boston College on the road, of course play Clemson, have an intriguing road game at Mississippi State in week 2. So the games are very difficult for NC State. The question is, are they there yet? Do they have the talent to really take that next step forward? And we don't really think so yet. 7-5, still good enough to go to a middle-tier bowl game. Maybe have a chance to clinch yet another 8-win season. Following NC State, we have Louisville, the Cardinals. And you look at Louisville, guys, they're a team that needs a big year because of everything that's been going on. They had high expectations last year, failed to reach those, going 4-7. Scott Satterfield then flirted with South Carolina a little bit. That didn't sit well with the university officials. That definitely didn't sit well with the fans. He needs to find a way to win them back. And by doing that, or the way to do that, in my opinion, is just to get them to a bowl game. Get them to the postseason, show improvement. The Cardinals had the number 1 passing defense in the ACC last year. Expect that to remain strong. It's the offense that needs some work. Mikael Cunningham will become more consistent. Had 12 interceptions last year. Expect those numbers to decrease a little bit. If he remains more consistent, takes better care of the football, Louisville's offense will start to click like we saw them do 2 years ago. And I do believe the Cardinals have what it takes to at least reach the 500 mark get back to the postseason, and then grow from there. After Louisville, we have Wake Forest sitting at 6-6. The Demon Deacons return so much experience. Practically everybody on the offensive side of the ball, Sam Hartman, and namely Ja'Cory Roberson, the star wide receiver that will be one of the best in the country, not just the ACC, but the country this year. But the problem, again, for Wake Forest is their schedule. Do they have what it takes? They go to Virginia. They go to Army. They go to North Carolina. They go to Clemson. They go to Boston College. A couple toss-up games in there, but when you have 19 returning starters, many expect you to win 8 or 9 games, and that doesn't seem to be in the cards for the Demon Deacons. The talent is there for Dave Clawson to get them yet to another bowl game. I believe it will be now 6 straight in Winston-Salem. If you're a Demon Deacon fan, you have to be happy with that. Following that, you have Florida State, and I know that's going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to disappoint a lot of people to see Florida State at 5-7, just 3-5 in conference play. I still don't think Florida State's there, guys. They're entering year 2 under Mike Norvell. Yes, their offense should be better. They have a solid quarterback in Jordan Travis. Also have Mackenzie Milton as well. Don't sleep on him. Very well could win that starting job. But it's Florida State's defense that really, to me, has been their downfall the last few years. Only 5 starters are back on that side of the ball. And yes, I know, Mike Norvell hit that transfer portal hard. And yes, those transfers will make an immediate impact. But I don't think it's enough to make an impact to get them to the postseason and to get them their first winning season since 2017. They host Notre Dame in week 1, at North Carolina, at Clemson, of course Miami, at Boston College, Florida in the season finale. The tough schedule for the Seminoles. They'll be much more competitive, but they're not going to get to a bowl game. At least not in our eyes, not this year. And for Seminole fans, I'm sorry. I feel you. My man Mike, I feel you. You're going to get there probably as soon as next year. Rounding out the Atlantic, we have Syracuse. Shouldn't be a surprise that we have the Orange going 2-10, winless in conference play. They only won 1 game last year, and their schedule is just as difficult as many of the other teams we've mentioned. Like Wake Forest and like many of these teams, Syracuse benefits from tons of returning starters, tons of returning talent, but it's not going to matter because every team they face has just as much returning talent and is definitely better than the Orange. I mean, an interesting date against Liberty, lost to them by 17, an improving Rutgers team, Clemson, Boston College, NC State, all those teams, everybody in the ACC, except for maybe the exception of Duke, I feel is better than the Orange right now, and Syracuse does not have the liberty of playing the Blue Devils. They will finish 2-10 winless in the conference. Over in the Coastal, that's the more intriguing of the 2 divisions, guys. This is the one that's more wide open and going to be more fun to watch because Clemson winning almost seems inevitable. But you come over here, it's really a battle between North Carolina and Miami, and you could factor in Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh as your 2 dark horses. But it's really the battle between UNC and Miami. And we have the Tar Heels. We have Matt Brown's Tar Heels coming out on top. 10-2, 7-1 in conference play. I just don't think North Carolina is going to go undefeated in conference play. Someone is going to trip them up. If you want to find out who we have them losing to, go take a look at their video. But someone will trip them up in conference play. The other loss, of course, coming to Notre Dame in South Bend. But Sam Howell is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Matt Brown has engineered one of the best turnarounds in the country. North Carolina is not just a legitimate ACC title contender, but they are a college football playoff contender as well. The same with Miami. You look at Miami. Derek King is back. He is the key for Miami this year. His health is vital to Miami's success. He tore his ACL in that bowl loss to Oklahoma State. If he remains healthy and can be just as potent as he was last year on that torn ACL, on that recovered ACL, the sky's the limit for the Hurricanes. Everybody's back on offense, and their defense returns 9. Manny Diaz knows this is a big year for them. And we have them going 10-2, 7-1. That record is going to be good enough to get them to a New Year's 6 bowl game. And if you're a Hurricanes fan, you have to be thrilled with that. Sure, you'd love to win the Coastal, and I do believe the Coastal will be decided on October 16th when North Carolina hosts Miami. But even if the Hurricanes fail in that game, they should have the talent, and they do have the talent to win double-digit games and get to a New Year's 6 bowl game. And that is huge. Another step in the right direction in terms of getting the U back. We got Virginia Tech right there, 5-3 in conference, 8-4 overall. Justin Fuente needs a big year. Like we mentioned in our Virginia Tech video, the Hokies had not suffered a losing season since 1992 when Justin Fuente came along. Well, Fuente's entering year 6. He's had 2 losing seasons in his 5 years in Blacksburg. That's unacceptable. That includes a 5-6 mark last year. It's unacceptable for Virginia Tech. He needs a bounce-back year. We're not saying 10 wins. We're saying a decent bowl game. 8-4 is going to get that. 8 returning starters on defense. That's going to be the strength for Virginia Tech from start to finish. It's really a story for the Hokies about how far their offense comes over the course of the year. Braxton Burmeister has to play well. He has to stay healthy. And they've got to find a run game after Khalil Herbert left. Virginia Tech's offense will be the difference maker this year, whether or not they win 8 games or they're a borderline bowl team. We got Pittsburgh coming in at 8-4 too. I love this Pittsburgh team a whole lot, guys, but it's this middle of the pack stretch that's going to be so tough for them. A 4-game stretch at Georgia Tech, at Virginia Tech, Clemson, and Miami. Those 4 games right there will really dictate whether the season can be special for Pittsburgh or if it's just going to be mediocre again. Remember, they've had 11 consecutive seasons with 5 losses or more. We think that streak comes to an end at least in the regular season. They're going to need to win their bowl game to really end that streak. But 8-4 for Pat Narduzzi and the Panthers, a team that returns Kenny Pickett, a 5-year returning starter at quarterback, which is very unheard of nowadays, Vincent Davis at running back, Jordan Addison at wide receiver. That's the big 3. And a defense that's always potent. Was one of the best in the country last year in terms of stopping the run, pressuring the quarterback, and of course just an overall defense as a whole. The Panthers are legit. We think they're going to start strong, sputter a little bit, but definitely will finish strong and will land a massive upset in there as well. Go check out their video to find out who. Then we got the bottom 3 here in the Coastal. Virginia, 6-6, 3-5 in conference play. They took a step back last year, but a lot of teams did. We've got to cut some teams some slack because of COVID. Bronco Mendenhall improved on his win total every year with Virginia until last year. I think they improve on that win total and they get that streak going again. They won 5 last year. We think they win 6 this year, as long as their secondary improves, as the Cavaliers had the worst passing defense in the ACC last year, allowing 304.4 passing yards per game. And then rounding out the Coastal guys, Georgia Tech and Duke. The Yellow Jackets, we believe, are getting there under Jeff Collins. They've got Jeff Sims at quarterback. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. This is a team that was averaging over 190 rushing yards per game. What they need more of is consistency from Sims. Got to improve on his accuracy. Got to improve on taking care of the ball. And they have to improve on their discipline. Over 80 penalties last year. 41 of them, I believe it was, in pre-snap penalties. Got to be better. Stop digging a hole for themselves. They do that, and they fall just short of making a bowl game. But this team will be a lot more competitive and a lot better than they've been the last 2 years, and might surprise a few people here and there. And then, of course, Duke, 3-9, 0-8 in conference. We've said it over and over. It's a battle between Duke and Syracuse for who's the worst team in the ACC. Based on overall record, I guess you could say Syracuse would be, because Duke, we have them at 3-9. I do believe Syracuse has a tougher non-conference slate, but regardless, each team goes winless in conference play. The Blue Devils seem to be in a state of disarray right now. Gunnar Holmberg is going to have to work some serious magic. David Cutcliffe is going to have to work some serious magic if the Blue Devils even want to remain somewhat relevant in the ACC this year. So having said all of that, guys, that's your Atlantic standings, that's your Coastal standings, at least from us here at the Gridiron Expert. That means that Clemson takes on North Carolina in the ACC Championship Game, and that's the matchup we all want to see. Remember, just 2 years ago, North Carolina was a 2-point conversion away from upsetting the top-ranked Tigers. They fell to Clemson 21-20 in Chapel Hill. You look at Clemson, DJ Uiagalelei, 10 returning starters on defense. Brent Venables leading that defense. Justin Ross back at wide receiver, paired up against Sam Howell. And this passing attack for North Carolina, and one of the best secondaries, maybe not just in the ACC, but maybe in the nation. This has all the makings for a classic ACC title game. One that certainly has college football playoff implications. Clemson certainly going to be fighting for their spot in there. North Carolina, if they can get in there with one loss, will be fighting for a spot in there as well. So this is the matchup we all want to see, and it will finally deliver as a close ACC title game, unlike we've seen in recent years. But at the end of the day, one thing is not going to change, and that's going to be that Clemson wins the conference. While I do believe North Carolina gives the Tigers all they can handle, because I do believe the Tar Heels are that good, I'm looking at it right now and saying that Clemson is the king of the ACC until proven otherwise. I cannot pick against the Tigers until I finally see them get beat. And I still believe right now they are the team to beat in the ACC, regardless of how good North Carolina is, regardless of how good Miami is, regardless of how good Georgia is. They are the team to beat right now, not just in the ACC, but in the country. And we have the Clemson Tigers winning, I believe it will now be their 7th straight ACC title. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos, predictions from now until the beginning of the college football season. Also, make sure to check out everything down in the description below and go sign up for those expert picks. Promise you're not going to regret that. Some of the best college football and now NFL spread picks in the entire country over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Link is down in the description. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.